All right, good day all. Miss Muir was have. Sorry, good day everyone. Are you hearing me? Okay.
Yes, sir. Good
All
day.
right.
Yes, I'm
After.
in.
Okay. Hi, Mr. Panther and Mr. Foreman. All right, just waiting on Miss Muir to join. And Miss Plummer. Right. Also, we're streaming live on YouTube. Um, in case we hit the 100 limit. All right. So just a few more seconds and then we should be okay. All right, I just copied the YouTube link in the chat in case anybody is having difficulty getting onto Zoom. All right, so until Miss Muir comes on, is she here yet? Miss Muir? Um, Good day, everyone. Um, Miss Muir is going to organize a series of meetings in the month of May in preparation for Final Viva. All right. So when she comes on, she's going to talk about that. Um, Final Viva um, is set for um, what is it? It's the 6th, right? So we're going to have a series of meetings in the lead up, right? Because we want everybody to do um, their utmost. All right. So we're expecting that yourselves, all your group members and your supervisors should be here, and we should start in about 4 minutes. All right. If you know anyone who was supposed to be in the meeting, please just reach out to them. There was a technical issue with the link Miss Muir had sent out before, so she's going to use this link instead. All right. And we're also streaming live on YouTube right now. Um, so if you are in a chat group, probably if you are in the final year chat group or you're in the major project chat group, can you just send the YouTube link, please? All right, thanks.
Hi, Mr. West.
Hi, oh, Miss Mir, is that Miss Mir? Okay,
Sorry
all
for the
right.
delay.
Yeah, that's
Everybody.
okay.
We basically want to start with Miss Plummer. And then after Miss Plummer, who is the ethics chair, we're going to I'm going to give a, well, I don't know which, either Mr. White or I are going to give short mini presentations in whichever order, and then we're going to open for question and answer. Miss Plummer, in her presentation, I just sent her the new link, and I did tell her that she has agreed to present at 3:30, so she will be the first main speaker. So I did tell her that it's a new link, and I just sent her an email, so we'll be expecting her to join shortly. So and we'll definitely open to question and answer. Certainly, while she's here, we'll have a short question and answer, but she's not going to stay so long. But Mr. White and I and others can answer questions. We're going to, in our discussion today, remind everybody about, if you haven't heard yet, the Mini Viva date. We're going to talk about the process to get ready for that Mini Viva, as well as for the final. Remember, you have to submit a chapter 1 to 5. It won't be bound. It will be a virtual copy, and you also can, if optionally, be involved in a poster or paper presentation. So all that's going to be part of what I'm going to say after the presentation by Dan Plummer. David, whenever Mr. White, whenever she joins, please just alert me.
Yes, I'm looking. Yeah. I haven't seen her yet.
Right. So the other thing to remind you guys, this is all without dates now. I'm just reminding everybody that if you have not gotten an email from your supervisor informing you either that your application for ethics has been approved, or this is the change that need to be made, or worse, that you haven't even submitted, because I know of at least 2 groups that have not yet submitted ethics applications as yet. You need to do that if you're planning to be ready for the final Viva in, what is it again? Whatever, in a few weeks. You're going to be ready for that. You need to submit in April. If you don't submit in April and get approved in April, it is very unlikely that you're going to be ready for the final Viva. And this year, it's having ethics clearance is a requirement for doing the final Viva. All right. So while we're waiting for Ms. Plummer, I'm not looking at the paper with the date. So when I get back with the date, so sorry,
it's a 6th, Miss Muir.
All right, the 6th of July. So for those who haven't heard, the final Viva is Tuesday, July 6th. So set your calendar. If you are working, set your calendar. If it is that you are making a appeal for you to be in the evening, send an email to me, Suzanne Amior at what is it? I have 2 emails that you can send it to. Preferably the one for the capstone. I think it's capstone. Don't remember the exact email. I'll send it to you guys later in the chat. So preferably send it to the capstone email. As in capstone, for those who don't know, it's the same thing as major project. So if it is that you have a logistic problem doing it in the morning because of work or some other thing that is reasonable, you're going to send an email in advance. You don't the day before say, oh my God, I have work and I can't, no, that cannot work. So if you know now that there is a reasonable reason why your group or you are having a problem at the regular time, you would send an email now. Mr. White, is that not reasonable?
That is reasonable.
Yeah, so we're not going to take last minute. Last minute things are you are ill. Right? So, and if you are ill, you provide a medical certificate to, to UTEC, through the medical center. You either go to the medical center or you have your physician send that to the medical center to verify. This is a course, like every other course, it's 3 credits. If you have a medical condition, you submit that to deal with that matter. All right, anybody with a quick question while we're waiting for Ms. Plummer to join? Daniel Reed,
I'm here. Ms. Plummer is here.
Oh, you're here. Daniel Reed, what's your quick question?
Good afternoon. I submitted the forms, the ethics forms and the consent forms and everything in the folder online, but I haven't gotten approval or anything as yet. And you just mentioned that
you mean not approval, you haven't gotten a response?
Yes, I haven't got. Okay. I spoke with him and he wasn't aware.
Who is your supervisor?
Okay, Mr. Philip Smith.
Philip Smith, are you sure he has gotten no response?
Yes, Mercy, he hasn't.
Up to when?
Up to yesterday, which
Okay,
when I
well,
last spoke to him.
well, I guess at the end of Miss Plummer's presentation, perhaps she can address that. All right, I'm going to welcome Dan Plummer, engineer, to our meeting. She is the current chair of the Faculty of Engineering and Computing's Ethics Committee, which comprises of a number of persons, which includes myself and Mr. White and many other faculty members. You can go right ahead with your presentation, Ms. Plummer.
Okay, thank you very much,
Mr.
Mr.
You
Chair.
can kindly lower your hand and later we deal with your
Right, there's a question
presentation.
and answer segment in my
Right.
presentation, so we can address it. And my presentation is quite short as well. So let me go ahead and share my screen. Just give me a minute. Just give me a second, please. Thank you. Are you able to see my screen? Yes?
Yes, you can.
Yes, Ms. Plum.
Okay, great. So my name is Diane Plummer and I'm the current ethics chair for the Faculty of Engineering and Computing. So I'll be doing just a quick presentation. Our topics include the ethical guidelines, the 7-step application process, ethics approval flowchart, and application tips, and then we'll take your questions as well. So first of all, I'd like to say that all research should receive ethical clearance. So this is not only for SCIT students, but for the engineering students, in addition to staff who may be conducting any kind of research. So this was taken from the research policy, and it says that research involving human subjects must ensure that proper consideration is given to the rights of individuals and the risks involved, that informed consents are obtained from the subjects prior to conducting the protocol, and anticipated benefits and the importance of the knowledge accruing are also explained to the subjects that you're going to be getting your data from. Now, this policy, it applies to all research involving humans. It is not just research where you're saying, okay, I'm not going to be taking any blood samples, I'm not directly relating anything to humans. But of course, if you're collecting data, this is involving human beings. So of course, all of these types of research would warrant you getting an ethics clearance. Now, there are some ethical guidelines, which I'll be explaining now. So we should have a clear justification for the involvement of human subjects in the research. So if it's a case where you don't necessarily need to be collecting data, doing your surveys, doing interviews for you to complete a project, you don't necessarily have to do this, because we get sometimes projects where we have to question, but do they really need to do a survey? Do they really need to go and interview persons? So not because you're doing a major project, and of course you would have learned about these instruments. If it doesn't apply to your project, then you don't necessarily have to do those, right? So you should also include a clear justification for the scientific purpose of your research. You should also have the expectation that it's going to increase knowledge and it is going to benefit mankind. Sometimes we get projects where we find that students are just doing a project for the sake of doing a project. But how is it going to increase the knowledge that is out there? Not just your knowledge, but knowledge of your peers, knowledge of persons who actually take up your research. And is this application going to be beneficial for mankind overall? Now, all potential risks or disadvantages to the participants must be explicitly stated on the form. All right, all risk. Suppose you're going to be doing some test driving of some equipment, etc., and collecting data. You have to tell persons of these risks that are involved. So if you're going to be using your instruments, which include your questionnaires and interview questions, or any kind of devices, right? What if you're doing some VR technology, whatever it is, all the risks involved must be placed on the form and communicated to all your participants. All right, so what is the application process? So there are basically 7 steps. The first one is to visit our ethics Google site. We're gonna be doing a tour after this. And the next one would be to download the required forms. These include your ethics application form, the informed consent form, and your participant letter. Now, for your informed consent and your participant letter, these are standard. So all you would need to do is to modify it, place the relevant information from your project, and also update the names, etc. on it, right? Now, once you have completed your application form, we're at step 3, you need to ensure that it is signed by all group members as well as your project supervisor. You also have to ensure that the name of your supervisor is on the form as well. So regarding the informed consent form, if you're working with minors, you simply have to modify that form and it will be your assent form. So if you're working with students, let's say you're doing a research for high school students, etc., and you're dealing with persons under 18, you have to get an assent form that will give the child the rights to participate. So it will have to be their parents giving them that right, etc. And of course, your participation letter as well. You also need to ensure that you attach all your instruments. What we find is that sometimes persons upload their application form and they do not attach their interview questions and their questionnaires. So of course, we will review, but then we will make a note. And of course, you would also have to send back that information because we have to go back through your instruments. So once you have all these documents, you simply click the upload tab on the ethics website. You're gonna create a folder. You can use a short project title or you can use your group name, but we prefer if you put the project title there and then you simply upload your documents. What I have here is a sample application, which was done by a group this year, and it was quite good. So I'm just gonna quickly run through it, not too much details. So if you notice, they placed their project title here. They had included their supervisor's name and contact details, all the group members. They looked at the estimated duration of their project. And for this section that looks at the aims and significance, they wrote down a detailed aim. They looked at their significance. They looked at the theoretical part and the practical part, how it's gonna improve persons' lives, etc. They made sure that they checked all the boxes here for section 10 that looks at the research, and it asks some specific questions like human tissue samples, etc. Then where will the project be conducted? They were very specific as well. They also described their methods. They went into a lot of details talking about how many questions are on the questionnaires. They looked at the participant groups. They talk about the farmers, etc. And what we find sometimes is that students don't really fill out this part that deals with data management. This is very important because we need to make sure that all the data is managed properly. Notice they said that the data will be destroyed once it is no longer needed for research, things like that. But this section that deals with the analysis, you can explicitly explain how you will be doing your analysis. It doesn't have to be a long epistle, right? Something very short and detailed that we can get what you're going to be doing. For section 15, we find that sometimes students don't fill this out and they put not applicable NA, etc. You can't do that for this section. We need some information. For example, review of the progress of the project. You know, will you be having group meetings with your supervisor, duty of care, looking at not just the research staff, which means you and your supervisor, but also the participants as well. And for this one, the one that says feedback of results, sometimes students just simply put not applicable, but that's not the case. All participants have a right to get some information about the project when you have asked them to be a part of it through questionnaires, etc. Okay, let me go back. All right. Now this is the general process flow of our committee. So once we get your form and it's completely filled out, you have attached all your documentation, we at our level, we review. Yes?
Just to interrupt, because this is very important. For that same group, could you show the students the rest, as in the application includes, as you said earlier, it includes the letter to participants, it includes the informed consent, and it includes any form of whatever the research procedure is. So I don't remember for that group if they were going to do a interview or a survey. The reason I'm saying please show it even briefly.
I think they had to upload.
Yeah, but could you show it? Because could you show it now? Because the students are going to forget. Because if you show that for 2 seconds, the students will remember that if they don't put that in, we will not approve it.
Okay, all right. So when I go to the next slide, that gives us
because we want to make sure that the students understand what is required.
Right. So when we go to the next slide, I think the next slide is where we do the tour. Then I will show them all the forms. So I'll do it in that section. So at our level at the committee, we look at the low risk applications, which is typically what the students are presenting, and we approve it there. Once that is done, we request a clearance certificate, and then we communicate that certificate to the supervisor. What we'll be doing this year as well is to upload the certificate in the respective folder so students can go ahead and download these. All right, so now we're going to look at the ethics website that you should upload your information, etc. So this is where we have our homepage. If you notice, we have the tabs here. So you can click on the section that says forms, and it brings up the form. So we just went through the application form itself. So if you notice on the site itself, it says download and complete all sections and ensure that the form is signed by all group members and your supervisor prior to submitting. Then we have our consent form. So let's take a look at the consent form so you have a better understanding. So if you notice, it is a standard form, it's quite generic, and you simply just fill, excuse me, you simply just fill in the blanks really. So it has your project title, the researcher name and address, phone, email, and it has some generic information saying that the information provided on this form and the accompanying cover letter is presented to you in order to fulfill legal and ethical requirements for research studies at the University of Technology, Jamaica. So we're not hunting you down for these forms because we want to give you more work to do. No, it is a legal requirement, right? We don't want you to go out there and to be doing projects and you have not duly informed us, the university, and you have not received clearance for it in the event that there's some kind of adverse event that happens, all right? So if you notice, you simply just fill in all that information and you send it to us. Of course, you can make it as specific as you want to your direct project. Now, this consent form, as I said before, let me go back to it. You can modify it if your project involves you dealing with minors, all right? So you will just simply modify this document, all right? And you would have the signature of the participant, which would be the parents in this case. Okay, now the next form is our cover letter to participants. Now, again, it is a generic form and you modify it based on your project. So of course it has address, date, etc. Gives a name, you identify if you're a lecturer or student, you're conducting the study. So we even have the blank spaces there for you to just simply modify it and to tailor it for your specific project, okay? Now, on the CROSS website, there are some little notes beside everything, right? It says, once your research requires getting data from questionnaires, interviews, etc., you are required to provide the participants, with a consent form. Now, for your cover letter, once your research requires getting data from questionnaires, etc., you're required to provide the participants with a letter, which is a formal introduction. It also lets the participants know that their response is voluntary. So simply just download the forms and then you complete them. Now, these are some application tips that I have compiled based on the applications
Sorry,
that we have
just
reviewed.
sorry to interrupt again, Ms. Plummer.
Right?
Before getting the tips, I'm just suggesting that you did that. Sorry, that group that you said was excellent, which I remember when we did it. It was good. I'm hoping that you would just take the minute just to show that they actually submitted the additional instruments.
No, for this particular group, they did not, and we had to contact their supervisor.
Oh,
And yes, but their application was very good, and they are supposed to upload.
but it was incomplete.
It was incomplete because they did not place their application.
I'm just reminding students, because
etc.
all of them, we will not say it is finished until you put in all of, because just to, would you mind if I clarify to the students why that's the case?
Sure, that's fine.
Just to clarify, guys, what is the, just to amplify what Ms. Plummer has already said, what is the ethics approval all about? Like being a legal and ethical thing. There's a possibility that you could, the PowerPoint is on the website, Ms. Cameron. It's available on the website. So it's available right now. Not true, Ms. Plummer?
Yes, it has been there since last year.
It has been there for months, but yes, you can download it for free. Yeah, so yeah, back to the story. As I love what Ms. Plummer has on the slide, ethical and legal is actually on the form. Ethical and legal obligation. So we don't want it to harm anybody, either physically, psychological, or any other alley. And in case something goes wrong and you take or you could be sued, we don't want any issue at all. But outside of that, in addition to all those possible harms, we actually want excellent research. And research which is foolish, it should not be done. So the ethics process, if we don't know what the research is going to be, and just the description in section 11, which is the research plan, doesn't give us enough to know what you're going to actually do. So when you attach the instruments like the survey or the interview questions or the experimental plan, then we can know what is going to be done. So if you don't put that in, the ethics committee has no idea. And by the way, for those who don't know, this is the same across the world. It's the same at UE. In fact, at University of the West Indies, Mona, they are more rigorous than we are at UTech. So we're not being wicked. This is a regular world-class standard globally. So hopefully that helped a little bit. Back to Ms. Plummer's presentation.
All right, thank you very much for stating that, and I hope as well that they will, going forward, ensure that they upload all the relevant documentation for us. All right, so let's go to our application tips. So I think I've outlined 8 tips. The first one is to ensure that all documents are submitted. So myself and Ms. Muir, we just went through why that is so. Now, what you should also do is to state how this data that you collected will be stored. right? Remember, we want to protect the privacy of persons who are participating in your research, right? So we need to ensure that you're safely storing their data. And if at the end of the project, we notice that some students, they're saying, okay, this is going to be destroyed at the end, etc. We want to know how participant anonymity will also be fostered. So if you are collecting certain sensitive data, how can you ensure that this data is not going to be leaked? No one can really hack and steal this data, right? And for tip 4, in light of COVID-19, you are going to be doing surveys and interviews that are online. So because it is online, how will this data be stored and protected? You have to ensure you state those on the form. Now, you have to also ensure that the application form is signed by members of the group in addition to the supervisors. Sometimes we get applications and the supervisor's name is not even on it. How can we contact the supervisor if there is any questions that we have, or how can we send them the feedback? Because our communication is between is to the supervisors. We also update the project folders as well. The participants of your surveys have a right to get the feedback. So we noticed that in section 15, where it asks about feedback to participants, some students simply write not applicable, or they just leave it blank. But you need to state that, if requested, the participants will be given feedback. All right, tip 7, you have to ensure that you complete section 15. That is a section where students just simply leave it blank, or we realize that maybe they don't even read the question. They just simply write NA for all of it. And this is a section that deals with your participant care, the winding up of the project. If you have any adverse events, what would you do? Things like that. And then tip 8, which is our last tip, it says that, and I'll be expounding on this, which would probably answer a lot of your questions. You have to be in contact with your supervisor for updates. You also have to check your folder periodically for the updates to ensure that you give all group members access to the folders when you upload the application. I think I had another slide. 1 second, let me see if okay, it is here. So this says, what happens after I submit my application? So what happened is that the access is updated on your folder so that only the person who uploaded the folder and the ethics committee members will have access. So let's say you're a 4-member group and just 1 member uploaded the folder with the documents. And this member did not give access to the folder to the other 3 group members. And let's say we send out the information to the supervisor and you have to upload some document that is missing. And then 1 group member who does not have access to the folder tries to upload. They will see that they do not have access. So for the committee, we don't have the manpower to individually go and check if this person who is requesting access is actually a group member to actually give them access. That would mean that we'd have to open the application, look for the student name, etc. We don't have that manpower. So what we suggest is that at the moment that you're uploading your folder, give all your group members access to the folder so that they can go ahead and access it. Now, our committee members, we review the application and we make comments, and then our final decision is made regarding the application, whether to approve pending or to resubmit. Now, regarding the comments, the specific comments, these are emailed to your major project supervisor. There is usually a comment sheet that is placed in the individual folders as well, so that students can see the comments and make their additions accordingly. Or they can see that, okay, great, my project is approved. All I need to do now is to just wait for my certificate. Now, we have the comment sheet such that students can also view an action, because we know that sometimes supervisors, you know, for whatever reason, may not be communicating with their group, with their student group. So we also have that comment sheet placed in the folder for persons to go through and make their updates. We have an ethics email address that persons can send emails to. I think it's, I will double check that email address shortly for you. So that's what happens after you submit your application. So if you have not heard any updates, I suggest that you check in your folder. I have made sure that everybody who have submitted have access to their folder. So if you go online now and you check, you will see that you have access to your folders. I'm trying to see if there was something else that I needed to say. I think that's it. We would have covered. So now I'm open to questions. Oh, this was it. When you send in your application, right, you have to understand that based on our meetings, we will review them based on how they're submitted. I would typically go based on the folder, and our folder is organized alphabetically as well. So even when you go in now to our folders, you will see how we organize. So perhaps I can quickly just show that to you. So if we have, what you will see is student uploads. So you see we have SCIT, School of Engineering. So we're dealing with SCIT students today. So if you go into SCIT, you will see masters and undergrad. You'll see review in progress. So if you go into undergrad, you will see all of our folders based on our meeting dates, which is February 25, March to April. So we would have completed all submissions. If you submitted after April 8th, it is placed in this folder, and we have our January submissions as well. All right, so I'm open for questions now, Ms. Muir. I don't know if you were monitoring the chat as well.
Yes, there's a Kimberly, Miss Muir.
Okay.
There's a Kimberly who has her hand up. And I'm
Okay,
looking
Kimberly.
on YouTube to see if questions are coming in.
Okay, thanks. All right, Kimberly, go ahead.
Good afternoon, Ms. Plummer. What if we got approved and realized that we needed to interview another company and those interview questions were not in the first set of documents that we're saying? Do we have to resubmit?
What you can do is to upload those questions in your folder, but you have to alert us. So you can send an email to us to alert us that, okay, you have added new questions for us to just quickly review it for you.
Okay, my second question is that we got approved pending update, but we still haven't received a response as yet. And we updated and sent a notification to the ethics email.
You are approved pending update?
Yes.
So normally once you update the file, then you would be approved, because what I normally do, if let's say you had some things to add to it, I typically request the certificate, and once I see where you made the modification, then I will make the certificate available. So once you see it is approved, that's fine. You just need to ensure that you update your folder and you alert us, and then we will place your certificate in there. So it's for accountability. Okay.
Ms. Plummer?
Yes.
I'm going to make a suggestion, which is mostly for outside of this meeting, but I'm going to make it right now.
Okay.
Because there is this kind of, let's call it confusion. Since I actually have a list of, as a major project coordinator, of all of the major projects, which if I recall, how much is it again? It's a long list. I'm wondering if we could take that master list and then put which ones have the certificates ready, which ones are, so
Well, on our drive, we have a file, a folder that has certificates. So it's just for us to place them in the folder. So
no.
yeah, but you can also send the master list so we can verify.
Yeah, it would be good just to have one thing where people can't see the details, but here are the, I don't know if I forgot how much of it, like it's 50 major project. If there are 50, like here are the 50 major project, these 39 have certificates, these 11 are still pending, these 2 have never gotten approval, whatever.
Sure, you can send that to us. That would
So
be
I
great.
could just
Because what I
email
can
that.
do, I can also update that on the website so students can check. So that's a good
Right.
suggestion. Thank
Because
you.
that means any student who don't have access to the folder won't be confused. I think that would clear up at least some of the confusion. What do you
No
think?
problem. Yeah, that's fine. You can send that
Okay.
list to me.
Sure, I'll do that right away.
Okay, thanks. Are there any other questions?
The students who are saying that they didn't get a response, are you all now, have you now checked that your response is there?
Yeah, they need to just check.
Okay.
Just
Ms.
check their
Muir,
folders and speak with their supervisors.
all right.
Because
Mr. Plummer and Ms. Muir, there's a question from Brianna.
okay, Brianna, what's your question?
Good afternoon. So my group has completed the form and submitted our instruments also. I believe from this presentation, I am now aware that we are missing the signatures from our supervisors. We had submitted with hopes that we would get feedback on the application while we wait on our supervisors to sign, but we haven't gotten any updates at all the form.
The issue is what we would want, even if an application is not signed, by the supervisor, we still look at it. We don't say, okay, this form doesn't have a supervisor signature, we're not going to look at it. No, we still look at the form. We make a decision based on the form and we say probably a note like approved pending or not enough information, whatever, and that is communicated to the supervisor and the comment sheet placed in your folder. Have you checked your folder? That is the question.
We have, and there's nothing in there.
When did you submit?
I believe probably like a month ago or a month and
no, we have everything that has been sent to us up until April 8th has been reviewed and comments shared with supervisors. So unless it's a case where our admin hasn't already placed the comment sheet in the individual folders, but I can guarantee you that every single application sent up until April 8th. So if you sent it on April 8th, it has not been reviewed yet. And I checked the folder and it's only one application in the folder that was submitted on April 8th. We have been meeting regularly and we have completed reviewing of all applications that have been sent and the comments have been shared.
Right, so I would suggest that if you looked in the folder and there was no thing up to April 8th, I think you need to send an email to say, please review as soon as possible and wait for an email response because every single one was looked at.
We looked at it and I'm so happy Miss Mira was.
I'm saying it because I've been in the meeting.
we don't have anything else except for that one student that submitted on April 8th.
Some of them were really not good applications, so we said more information is needed, please resubmit. So there were cases like that.
Exactly.
Do we send this email to our supervisor or to the ethics?
No, not to the ethics committee. It's two places you must send, to Shadia Yuan and to whatever the generic email is. Not the supervisor. The supervisor is not in the ethics committee.
I just want to confirm.
You can copy to your supervisor.
Yes, please copy to the supervisor in the event that he has received the comment.
Put it in the chat.
Share the email with us, please.
Yes, sure. Let me just give me 1 minute.
While you're doing that, Ms. Plummer and Ms. Mira, while you're doing that, questions are coming in on YouTube.
Sure.
And in the chat. And we also have Matthew Smith whose hand is up. But before I take Matthew, on YouTube, Talken Nezar is asking if the information had been sent out before about the ethics or if it's just coming at this time.
Not
Um,
understanding what he's
right.
asking.
I think is that Mr. Jones. I think he's here in YouTube in Zoom as well. All right. It says, why is this information coming at this time and not before? All right. I'm just reading verbatim.
Okay.
Chanel Holmes is asking, my group got a response to make some changes to our application, and we did, but haven't received a response since then. Anastasia says, my folder does not have a comment sheet.
All right, David,
I'll
while
check
you
with
read,
my
once you read the question, let me
supervisor.
just answer once you read, because now I won't
Okay.
remember.
Well, okay, all right, go ahead.
All right,
I'll-
so for the
I'll read
student who's
Anastasia.
asking, why is this information just coming? I actually presented at a skit, what was it, David, earlier this semester? I
Yes.
presented,
Yes, you did.
and also the ethics website is shared with your major project coordinator and some supervisors, etc. And this presentation that I did is actually on the ethics website, so it has all the information, everything is there. So I'm not sure what happened.
Right.
Why
I can
you are just
concur with that. I can
getting the
concur with that.
information.
All right.
All right, next
Anastasia.
question. Mhm.
Anastasia is asking, well, Anastasia says my folder does not have a comment sheet. I'll check with my supervisor. Matthew Smith says, oh, Matthew is asking for the email. And I think
Right,
Matthew has
I'm
his
actually
hand
gonna
up.
type it in the chat right now.
All right, Matthew, do you still have a question? Your hand is still up?
Ms. Plummer, you might want to also put it on the screen because people on YouTube can't see
Oh,
the chat.
sure. Yes. All right. Let me just open
Remember,
up
it's also on
the
YouTube.
presentation and I will just put it in the
All right.
last
So we have
section.
Matthew and then Christopher Odega. Matthew,
we will
do you
send
still have a question?
No, man, we will send the email.
Okay, all right.
Because,
Can you lower your hand then, please?
Okay.
All right, no problem.
Thank
Mr.
you, sir.
Odega, Christopher Odega.
Well, my comment is just let me commend the committee on this ethics because they have been sitting very, very regularly. It is very good. They are doing a good job. Now I have three group of students and supervisors. Two, I was told verbally, two have been approved. Do I need to get any official letter from the committee that this have been approved? And the other one, I never had anything. So that's my question. How do I know the one that have been approved and the one that are not approved? Because if we have to have a committee that review any project, approval letter or a certificate need, and that means your research can now go on. So I was told to have been approved. Other one, I never had anything. But I told students to complete what they should do and send it back to the committee. Up to now, I didn't get a response. Yeah.
All right. So once you get an email to say that the project has been approved, that means that we are going to be requesting, or we would have requested, your ethics certificate. So this takes a little time to get. I do have a batch of certificates already. So Ms. Muir is going to send me the project list and I will double check to see which certificates we have received. The ones that have not been received as yet, I will send over the request form to get these certificates. But once you get a notification that your project has been approved, you can of course start it. And then this final certificate, you will place that in your document, at your final major project document.
Okay.
Or the other ones that you said you did not hear for, perhaps you can send me an email and I will check. But as far as I know, we have reviewed all ethics projects. So if you can,
okay, the one is on green. It's on green techniques, in computing.
Green
where we are
techniques
doing
in
the green
computing.
techniques in computing. Yeah, that's the topic. I don't know. Maybe you have reviewed it recently. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I am actually in the folder, green.
Techniques.
Well, I'm actually typing in the project name and I don't see that come up. Well, if you know the names of any other group members, that would help because you can see we
OJ,
have several.
OJ, one of the student members is OJ. OJ, I couldn't remember the other name. OJAY, that's one of the student
Okay,
members.
I think I remember seeing that name, OJ Black.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
Let me.
And OJ is in the chat, so you can tell you who the other members are.
Okay, let me check their review sheet. Their review sheet says
OJ, are you here?
Yes,
that
and Matthew Ferguson.
their
Yes, I'm here.
questionnaires need to be added to the folder. I'm not sure if they did that. That's the information I'm seeing in the review sheet.
Yes, I think we recently updated the folder. We added the questionnaire. Also, we've resubmitted the ethics form because there was a few stuff that needs to be addressed.
Okay, so let me check this 1 second. OJ Black. I'm seeing where you have 2 folders though. So I'm trying to figure out which one. Okay. So the date that you modified this was April 8th. So we wouldn't have checked your updated submission because that was the last day that we met and we had a morning meeting. So we will review your updates, but in your first folder, what I will do, I'll just put everything in one folder for you. But yes, since you have now updated it, I'm going to move this folder to the one for our next meeting. All right.
All right, Miss Muir and Miss Plummer, you have a Brianna. Is another question from Brianna.
Okay, Brianna. Yes.
Sir Udega, can you take back your hand down, please? Brianna.
Okay, so our
Brianna, what's your last name so I can't bring up
Gayle, Gayle. The name of our folder was our group members, and after being submitted, it was submitted either the 27th or the 28th of February, and then by the next week we could not see the folder at all to check if anything was in it. So the folder was completely gone. So we did send an email.
You should be able to check. You should be able to see your folder now. I have made sure that everybody have access to their folder before.
Is it that the access was removed?
No, because once we're going to meet, we give access to all the committee members, and we don't allow like anybody else who is not a part of the group to be able to see or modify or delete anything. But if you uploaded your folder, you should have still access. So what you can probably do is to just look at in your drive and access the folder from there. Because remember, these folders are just shared with us, the committee. You are the owner of this file. What is the name of your project?
The folder was our names.
Can you tell me the name? Because I type in Brianna and I don't see anything come up.
So there's Brianna Gayle, there's Nicholas Cameron, Khadija Cameron, and Abigail Nemard.
Cameron Nemard Gayle, okay.
Cameron Nemard Gayle.
Yeah, all right, I'm seeing your folder. Comment sheet.
But we can't see the
it was approved. Your project was approved, and the information was sent to your supervisor as well.
We have not heard from us. Okay.
Well, darling.
So hold on, who is the supervisor? Hold on. Who's the supervisor, Ms. Kramer?
Professor Muir, you and Mr. White, Mr. What's his? Oh, Mr. Thomas is our supervisor.
This was approved. Let me see.
Mr. Thomas is here. Yeah, Mr. Thomas is
and
here.
This was approved from May 25. That's the date.
Wow.
May 25, and we sent out information.
May or March?
May 25.
May 25th. I'm going to look right now.
March. Sorry, March.
I'm
March.
going to look at the email because Mr. Thomas
March
is really the
25.
official thing.
This was reviewed.
Mr. Thomas is here, and Brianna.
Guys, yeah, I think I know when that was approved, but I think that the issue was the information sent out to the supervisors
Right, I'm
because
going to
I
look
think
right
that's
now.
the problem that is happening. Sometimes the supervisor information is not sent to the supervisors. But I know for sure that that was because I think that was when I was meeting for one of my groups.
Okay. Well, I have to double check because normally our admin personnel, once we meet, she sends out the emails and she normally copies me on them.
Hold on.
All right.
Hold on.
All right. Any other question?
Hold on.
Yeah, we were told that, well, one person out of our group is no longer a part of the group, and she just told us just now that she got an email, but she deleted it.
Oh,
we don't know
wow.
what email said.
See, all right.
Because it never
And you guys
confirmed, so she
discussing
never
the
seen
ethics committee.
No, man, let's go back to that group. That group that was there. You guys need
But
to email
Miss
me
Muir,
immediately.
you don't hear. She said that one of her group member got the
One
information.
group member
and
got
she
an
didn't hear
email,
it.
but she's no longer in the group. She left like the day before we submitted, and she got an email, and she just told us that she deleted it because it never concerned her.
Okay, well, I don't know. After you guys had a problem, I did email me.
Right.
I'm your supervisor, and I'm the major project coordinator, and I'm on the committee.
Professor,
Brianna,
you
please
have been
email.
emailed, and Mr. Thomas, we can
Brianna?
send you the emails that have been sent. We have been
Brianna,
sent.
I have been
please email
meeting
Miss
recently
Muir.
with every major project group that's been willing to meet with me.
Yes, please.
Seriously, I met up to yesterday with a group. I met last week with 4 groups, of which not your group. I've been meeting with groups.
Can I ask, Brianna, thanks for raising that. Can I ask all group members, if there is a change in your group composition, right? Please email Miss Muir immediately, because you don't want a situation when we reach final Viva or so on, you hear that, oh, this one had left that group and joined another group, and you know. So please, you have a responsibility. I like how Miss Muir, I really have to congratulate her, how she has organized things and spread it out so that you have more than enough time, right, to communicate and you know, any changes and so on, and that we can take remedial action. So please, everyone, if there's a change in your group composition, just email Miss Muir.
All right, thank you, David. Any other questions?
Yes. I uploaded my ethics application in February, where my group member did, and we haven't seen any update, and she said the folder is empty.
No, no folder is empty. You will need to go back and check. What's your name, please? Let me do just a quick check.
Jodine Garvey.
Repeat.
Jodine Garvey. The topic is smart drainage system, the use of smart drainage systems in Montego Bay.
I'm not hearing you clearly. The use of what?
The use of smart drainage system to prevent flooding in Montego Bay.
Give me a group member name or something, because I'm not seeing that.
Shadell Brewery.
Could you spell?
Sure. SHADALEBREARY.
There, we have no such project. No name come up when I type that in, nor when I type in the Let me try again.
Here's the principle, guys. If you don't hear anything for 3 weeks, you need to send this email.
I'm not seeing that project at all, and it does not come up in any of our folders.
Well, she said she just seen the files that were submitted.
She's just seen it? Okay.
Just files that she submitted.
All right. Please just send me an email, because I'm not seeing that.
Chanel Holmes a part of that group, Jodine?
No.
Okay, all right.
Because I typed in the name a while ago and it did not come up. The name that you told me. So just send us an email. The email address is on the screen.
Yes. What's funny, Miss Plummer, is that she's saying her group member is still seeing the files. But
she's seen the
somehow we're not.
files?
Yes.
Yeah. What is a folder? In February folder or in January folder?
submitted in February.
Okay, accident detection, Alicia Bailey, Daniel Ricketts, implementation of a secure. Is that the Webb, Walters, Shimago, and Thomas?
No.
Okay. Those are the files I'm seeing in February. Let me check in the March. Remind me of the name?
Shadel Brewery.
Can you spell it, please?
SHADALE
Okay.
There's a Palvroy with
There's
a
an empty folder. All I'm seeing is an empty folder. There is nothing in the folder.
Did you say Pavra is part of that group as well?
I see Palvroy, Witter, Jodine Garvey, Rashid McLean. There is no file in this folder. It's an empty folder that is there. And it says 454. Hold on, let me see. Shadel. Let me see the in details. It said it was modified at 4:05 p.m. But there's nothing in this folder. It's an empty folder.
He's rejoining the Zoom, so.
All right, it said that you shared an item at 4:05, but this folder is completely empty. All right, so I suggest that you just re-upload your folder and send us an email to alert us so that I can put it to our next meeting folder. All right?
Okay.
All right, Miss Plummer and
Yes.
Miss Muir. You in the Zoom you have Daniel, Reed, and Chanel. But before you take them on YouTube, Felix Ferran is asking if you can check if Felix Ferran, Jalil Powell was approved. And Alex Downer, while you're checking, is asking if his supervisor must sign before he uploads the form.
Yes, your supervisor has to sign your application form. And the group, what was it? The Jalil group, yes, they were approved.
Jalil Ferran, they were approved. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Then you have Chanel Holmes now. Chanel, then Daniel, and then someone called iPhone. All right. Miss Muir,
What are they
Chanel?
asking?
Chanel?
Yes, good afternoon. Our group uploaded from February, and then we were told to update it, and we did in March, like March 10th. And we emailed, but we still haven't gotten a response whether or not we were approved.
Okay, what's your name? Let me just check real quickly.
Name of the folder?
Yes, if you have that.
Improving the accessibility of tertiary education.
Give me a group member name or something, because
Chanel Holmes.
Pardon me?
Chanel Holmes.
HOLMES. Chanel. This is improving the accessibility of tertiary. That one?
Yes, miss.
Okay. Yeah, an update was sent from March 8th. And what was your update? So you said you had placed the files there?
No, miss, we were told to email it, and we did.
No, we wouldn't tell you to email it.
Yes, it's like on the update sheet that we got, it said to email it to a email.
Update. I'm looking on it and it says update your folder and notify ethics.fenk@gmail once you have done so. So you're supposed to update the folder and then you notify us to say we have updated our folder and you state your group name and whatever.
Okay, miss.
All right. So what I need you to do, remind me of your name?
Chanel. post.
Chanel, what I need you to do now is to just send the email. The email address is on the screen. To say that you have updated the folder so that I can
To
move
update the folder.
Did you update the folder first of all?
I will have to check back, miss.
It doesn't sound that way.
Oh, so all right. So just update the folder and just send us an alert so we can,
It seems that we have some communication issues, guys.
Okay, miss.
Right.
So some of it is people are not following instructions. So if this thing says that this needs to be done, it's like update the folder. You need to read what the instructions are. Sometimes the supervisor gets it. Like I was just accused. I'm not the primary supervisor, it's Mr. Thomas. So if Mr. Thomas got the email, I don't know. But I've got no communication from that group recently. Maybe a few weeks ago, but not recently. I've got no recent. So the point is there's a number of communication issues. So I think if we have the overall listing, and based on this correspondence today, Ms. Plummer, I'm thinking that maybe we might need to have 2 short ethics committee because I want, if possible, to have all the major projects approved this month. I don't know if that's possible. That's outside of this meeting though. But guys, you need to, as soon as possible, upload your ethics applications if it's not yet been approved.
Miss?
Who are you talking to, Miss Plummer or Miss Mira?
Miss Plummer.
Yes, go ahead.
Chanel.
Yes, miss, I had checked back on our folder and yes, it was uploaded and updated and then we emailed you.
Okay, just send us a fresh email so it's at the top of our inbox so we can move it for our next meeting for review.
Okay.
All right.
All right, Miss Plummer and Miss Muir, you have Daniel Reed, Matthew Smith. But before Daniel, in the chat, Miss Muir, did you respond to Abigail Nemard? That was you and Mr. Thomas, and then there's a Leon. That's the Miss Plummer now. How do I know when my project is approved? Leon?
Liam?
Yeah, Leon. Leon. Leon, he didn't put his
Leon
last
Scott?
name. Is that
Or
Leon
Leon
Scott?
Campbell?
Leon?
Leon Scott, miss.
Leon Scott?
Okay.
This is a generic question, but she's looking it up. How you generally know is what happens is that when the committee meets, there is an admin support staff who emails the supervisor, and then the supervisor would email the students or contact the students any other way. That's a short answer. So for example, what Susan Muir has done is when I got the email, I immediately email. So that means I know that I did not get that email. So I try to immediately email as soon as I get the email. So each of my groups, I immediately email just as soon as I got the email.
Miss, you are my supervisor.
When I have 2 groups where I'm the primary supervisor, I've notified both of them. Let me tell you the 2 groups I'm the primary supervisor. One is about e-prescription app, and the other one is, what's the thing name again? The group that didn't even ask anybody for a supervisor, and I took picture on that group. That group is about haptic technology. Everybody else, I'm secondary supervisor.
On your form though, Leon, yours is the technology acceptance of elderly persons, that one?
I've got the primary supervisor, any of those groups.
For that group, on your application, you have Miss Black as your supervisor.
So please stop telling me I'm the supervisor. I've never accepted any of you after primary.
All right. So what you can do, Leon, you can just let me see what
secondary supervisor, or I'm the co-supervisor. And I don't even think I got that email. So I can't forward the email I didn't get. And if you emailed me to say I'm having a problem, then I could maybe respond. You could say you could, and with me, sometimes I don't respond right away. Email me more than once. I know when I got that email from you and I haven't met with you. And I've been meeting with people outside, not even co-supervising, in the last few weeks. Because people have been reaching to me for help, not with ethics, with major project progress.
Okay.
So guys, I only have 2 groups that I'm primary supervisor for.
Send an email to the email address here and I'll check on it for you. But Miss Muir is not your supervisor, even on the form. She's not.
I'm your co-supervisor. please don't say things that is not true. So try and give me a bad word,
Right.
bad name. Yeah,
Right.
man, I don't appreciate it.
All right, Miss Muir. Miss Muir, Brianna is asking, where can we find our comment sheet? As
The
we are
comment
not seeing
sheet.
a review sheet or comment sheet.
What's the group?
Brianna. Brianna, what's your last name?
Gail.
Brianna Gale.
The review sheet is typically in the folder. Hold on. Let me click on the folder. Brianna Gale.
Yeah.
Brianna Gale.
Yes,
Daniel Reed.
Is there another name? Because when I type the
Gail
name, it doesn't come up.
Cameron Nemard.
This is the blockchain. No.
No, learning management system.
Learning management.
Miss, you just found the folder a while ago.
Pardon me?
You just found it and tell me that we're approved, and then we have to go find the supervisor and all of
So
that.
why what are you asking again, dear?
Because we don't see the folder, we can't see the folder. So whatever you are seeing there, we can't see.
What's the name? What's the name?
Brianna Gale, Nicholas Cameron, Khadija Cameron, and Abigail Nemard.
Cameron. I am not seeing your full. Is that Cameron, whatever?
Yeah.
Cameron,
Cameron,
yeah. I'm seeing that is in the March to April folder. So you should have access. Everybody who have access, unless you don't have access to that folder. Cameron, Nemard. Let me see.
The person who submitted,
Tassia Anna, she's the only person that have access. So if you are not a member, or if she never add you, then you can just go and look at it. It's gonna say that you're not even gonna see the folder. So your group member, what your group member needs to do is to add the rest of the group members to this folder, because only she alone have access to it. Right? Tassia Anna Mighty.
I'm also a part of this group. That person is no longer part of our group, Ms. Plummer.
Is the only person that has access to that group.
And that is the person who's
Understood,
getting
Ms.
our
Plummer, but she's no
email
longer a
and
part of the
decided
group,
she's
and
not
that was
able
not
to-
the email that it was submitted from.
can't bother. We can't.
Okay, what you do, send me an email and then I'll add you to this group. Just send me a email.
Is this email on the screen?
Yes.
Okay. The students were saying they can't bother. It's not too late. Everybody can still do their best in major project. Guys, calm down.
Right.
So this
Calm
Tassie
down,
and a person, she
calm
does
down.
not have, she's no longer in the group.
No, she hasn't been since
Oh,
before submission.
and she's
So,
the owner
guys,
of
The day
I'm the
before
major
submission.
project coordinator. You should have been sending me that information.
We were told
Miss
that
Mayor,
gotten
Miss Mayor.
approval for all of
What
this
were you told?
information before.
Can't hear
She
you.
told us that she
Huh?
got the approvals for being allowed to switch groups, and she told who she needed to tell. So we continued with the project.
Miss Mayor,
Yes.
Abigail Nemard here. I'm a part of Brianna's group. Miss, this is the situation. Tasian said she emailed you and Mr. White, our supervisors, that she will be switching groups, and she got approval. We continued without her. We uploaded the documents, and we've been waiting for months literally, for a response or update. We've been emailing, we've been asking.
Who's the supervisor?
I'm not her supervisor.
Who is the supervisor?
Mr. Thomas.
Oh, you said Mr. White a while ago.
Mr. Thomas,
not your
Dwight Thomas?
Yes, miss, and you
Okay.
are
The co-supervisor.
Yes, and we have been emailing with no response. We didn't know what to do, and now we're here. I've even emailed up to yesterday. Now we're here, and
To me? I don't
Yes.
get the email from
Your
you
email
yesterday.
question, sorry to interject. Your group is the accident alert detection system?
No, we're the learning management system, helping parents with children in grades 4 to
Oh,
6.
you're in the group that don't call yourself a name. Sure, I see an email yesterday.
Yes, miss. We have an email where everyone has access. So that is the email we use to upload.
I saw the email today.
We use
And
that.
the last time before that was a long time ago.
We've been using that email to upload the documents to communicate with everyone. So it's easier for everyone to have access. So I've been looking in our documents, our folder, the ethics stuff we've been looking. I've not seen a
comment sheet or anything remotely.
Yeah, but if you don't have
So
access
based
to
on what,
the
wait,
folder,
hold
how
on,
can
but
you
based
see
on what
anything?
she just said, it's been approved, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
but
I'm
when
saying that all they need to do, Miss Muir, is to send me an email so I can add them to the folder, because the only person who have access to this folder is the person who is no longer in their group. So that
And
is
they would
the
have
issue
known
here.
that. Okay.
no,
Right?
she did not communicate that with us. I'm just finding out today.
But you
that
didn't tell us that either. We would
But
know this unless you tell us.
we have been emailing you. That's the issue.
No, you didn't tell us that the person was the one who uploaded the form. I would have no idea of that.
Right. So if that person is the only person have access, then they're the only person who's gonna see.
We would not know that. You're not being fair to us. We can't know that. Only you would know that.
Miss, not even we know, Miss, because we said she received emails and she's been deleting them. We haven't been getting anything.
Oh dear.
Well, now you
what?
know.
Sorry.
So the
Yes.
solution
Yes.
is to just send us an email, send me an email,
Right.
and I will add you to the folder.
Will
That
Miss
is the
Plummer and
thing.
Miss Muir,
Alright?
Miss Plummer and
Will
Miss Muir,
do.
can I just come in here? And
Thank
this is
you.
to all students now doing major project. Please, from my groups, I supervise usually like 3 or 4 groups each year. And I tell them, I don't want any one person emailing me, because God forbid, anything can happen to that one person. So whenever a student email me from one of my major project groups, by themselves, I email them back and say, can you copy it to all the group members, please? Because I'm not having a one-away with one person or the other. Whatever I'm
Right.
saying, I say it to the group. So the group,
And yeah, and from the beginning, I told you I didn't agree with your central email, which you guys disagree with me. I say you should copy to all of you guys every time that central email. You can have a central email too, and you guys disagree with me. I don't agree with you with the central email. I said
But
copy
we all
all
have
your real emails.
We all
I said
have
copy to all. Listen to me. I told you to copy all your real emails and refuse
All,
listen to my advice.
everyone in the group is blind copied on each email that you send.
oh, don't blind copy it. Don't, my suggestion,
No, blank
don't
up is
blind copy it.
foolishness.
Exactly,
But
because when the lecturer
it's not a
responds, then
private thing.
everybody's gonna get the information.
But what
It's
they
not a
reply
private.
to is an email address that each member of the group
No, guys, and you don't put the names of the people in the email either. Guys, a
in the
professional
signature of
email has it real names of people. It's people. It's not some central email.
Our emails are in the signature bottom of
everybody's personal
our
email.
emails, our ID
signature
numbers, and
all
our
address.
majors and minors are in the bottom of the email when we send an email. Our signature.
Okay.
So
All right, I have about I would say 5 minutes.
Wait,
So
hello, can I interject?
we can't get any
Daniel,
question because
yeah,
I'm still at UTech and I would like to leave.
Yes, please.
Daniel has been trying to get you to
Yeah.
Miss Muir. Daniel has his hand up, and then
Yeah, I was the
And
first
Matthew.
person. Yes, I was the first person who said I haven't seen any approval or anything like that.
What's
as
your
yet.
name? Just tell me your name.
Daniel Reed. My group member uploaded from
I am
February.
seeing your folder right in front of me and your review sheet. Let me see. It was approved from May
Hi.
from March 25.
Miss Plummer, what
Okay,
about Matthew,
because
Matthew Smith?
sorry about that, because I thought it wasn't. I went ahead and I uploaded another because he didn't upload the consent forms and the instruments.
Okay. So I think we probably would have reviewed the updated one then. So it was approved.
Okay, thank you very
Hi,
much.
Miss Plummer.
What's the name of the next person? Matthew what?
Matthew Smith. Also with Mr. What you call there, Miles Morgan.
Yeah, but we'll have other things to do in this meeting and others.
It turned into an ethics meeting. Miles,
No,
what?
because Miles Morgan.
It's not even an ethics meeting, it's just a logistics meeting. I want to get on to more substantive
Because
matters.
we had submitted in February, but we never got any feedback at all.
I'm not seeing. I'm not seeing your name. Okay, I'm in the March folder. Sorry, my bad.
Try February folder.
Yes, we had submitted around the time of February 21st, I think it was.
What's your name again? Sorry.
Miles Morgan and Matthew Smith.
We're under the cybersecurity topic.
Okay, let me try about it because I'm not seeing. I type in cyber, I type in Matthew, I type in Miles, and nothing comes up. So if you give me like the specific name or something, I probably can find it, but just by typing in Matthew and Miles, etc., I'm not seeing that coming up.
All right, Ms. Plummer, while he's searching, on YouTube, Alex Downer says his supervisor is Stanford Graham. He's asking for approval as well, if you give him approval before you go.
Alex Downer?
Yes, A-L-E-X.
I type in Alex, I'm seeing Alex Narcisse, Alexander McIntosh, Alex Davis. What's the name of the person? Sorry?
Alex Downer.
Downer?
Yes.
D-O-W-N-E-R?
Yes.
I'm seeing a Dana Joe Downer. I'm not seeing a Alex Downer. If you can tell me the specific name of the project or something, because you see, if they don't put like their specific name in the folder or whatever, I'm not going to find it if I just type in their names like that. All right. So I'm not seeing that.
Okay.
Maybe the name for the folder or the names is not correct. So I'm not, when I type it in, I don't see it come up. So just send me shoot out an email and with the specific names of the project, and I can check on it for you.
All right. So Alex, you heard Miss Plummer. All right. Send her an email.
And then for the Miles and the Matthew, do the same thing, okay? Because when I type in Miles and I type in Matthew, I don't see it come up.
Okay, no problem, man. Thank you.
All right. So the email address is on the screen. So just send me the emails, guys.
Yes, guys. We only have 15 minutes. I don't know if anybody has exams and stuff. Sorry, I need to get into the meeting. We're having a major project meeting. I expected at least half an hour. So.
And I did not plan to stay.
Ms. Plummer, thanks for thanks for the long stay for the meeting. But guys, we have maximum 15 minutes for this meeting. So I'm starting the major project meeting.
All right,
thank you. So
just email me and I will check on it for
Looking
you.
forward to our meeting. By the way, this Thursday we're having a staff meeting. So I don't know if you could have it on Friday or it's the following week Thursday. But this week we have a skit staff meeting.
Okay.
So anyway, just letting you know.
All right. Thank you.
Guys, please, everybody, thank you for who already have their major project approval. Thanks for your patience. For those who don't know, I don't know, Mr. White, if you can put it on the screen, but I'm having some technical difficulties. For those who are in Zoom, in the chat, you see that the email to email me for major project is skitcapstone@gmail.com. It's just SCIT capstone@gmail.com. I don't know if you can remember it or Mr. White can share it. I don't know, but that is what it is. Next is, let's go through the dates. So the dates, I probably could share, but I have not co-host on the computer. So the dates are that by now you should have all done chapters 1 to 3. I know some groups actually are not there. You can be developing your prototype without research ethics committee approval. You're not supposed to collect your data until after research ethics approval. All being well, you should finish chapters 4 and 5, preferably by June 14th, because by then you would have obviously received research approval, collected your data, whether it's qualitative, quantitative, experiment, whatever it is, so that you can be ready for the Viva. Since you know that you're going to be presenting to a panel, most of you did the mini Viva. The plan is to have that date on June 28th, 1 week about before the actual Viva, which I have here as Tuesday, July 6th. And there's going to be a competition at the end of July, which people can get prizes for posters and papers. And then there'll be a final submission of your PDF. And by the way, we're using a Google Classroom. And for some reason, let me see, it seems as if most students don't know. My name is SUSAN, Mr. White. By the way, yeah, thanks. So let me go back to, do I have permission to share? Can I, let me see, share screen? Oh, right. Can you, if you allow me, so I'm here twice. I'm here, Suzanne Amir. Sorry, I'm here twice. So I'm here on my phone, I'm here on the computer. Yeah, but if you're not going to allow me to share screen, you can just go ahead and type what I'm saying. So that's okay. So back to where I am.
Sorry, Miss Muir. You have the ability to share. Go ahead and
Share,
share, Miss
okay.
Muir.
No, disabled. I don't have the ability right now. Try it again. I have it on my phone. You have to allow me. Let me try again one more time now.
Let's see.
As in Susan Mirrors here twice.
Yeah. Oh.
Oh.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah, that's what I'm telling you.
All right, let me look for your name. Okay.
And then while we're doing that, let me look for this thing and come back. Oh, where is it? Not this one. Is it this? I don't even know.
Okay, you should have it now, Miss Muir. Didn't realize you were there twice.
Yeah. Okay, great. Okay, so here we are. I think is this right? So this is the slideshow from slide. Yeah. So this is the days that we're working in. So I'm saying that after you get your research ethics committee approval, as soon as you get the email or the word that it's been approved, you don't need the certificate yet. So there's this online certificate, which is usually given by print as well. After you get word that it's been approved, you're allowed to collect data. You should be working on the, if there's a prototype, some projects are research only, we're emphasizing prototype-based projects. You are going to be working, as soon as you collect the data, remember you're going to analyze that data. You're going to be working on coming up with the things so that your supervisor and other people can give you feedback. So you can email your panel, which is likely to be the same as your previous panel, but not necessarily. And you're going to upload to a Google Classroom. So I noticed that up to recently, not many people have gone onto the Google Classroom. I don't know why. So I'm going to put that in the chat or on the screen shortly. I guess maybe on the chat, maybe we can send it out again. The Viva is July 6th. There is a student competition for both posters and papers in July. At the moment, the date is that you are for the grade. The grade for major project is in two components. There is the final Viva, which is graded, and then there is a PDF, which is graded by your supervisor. That's due on July 23rd. Right, the competition is optional. That's for prizes and surprises and glory and put on the CV and all of that. People who are thinking of doing the masters or thinking of, like, you know, whatever the reason is, you can do that for fun or for prizes. But for passing the course, you need to do the Viva and you need to do the final. For people doing the Viva, you need to get ethics approval and you need to have your supervisor approval. So I actually know of at least one group. Well, I know there's both ways. So there's some groups that haven't met with the supervisor because the supervisor has disappeared from them. And then there are other groups that has disappeared from their supervisor. They've been both ways. If your supervisor said that you're not ready, you will not be able to present. Not out of spite, no, you know, like literally you're not ready, you won't be able to present. If you don't have ethics approval, you won't be able to present. So we're not trying to do anything unfairly to anybody. We want everybody who is likely to be ready to pass. If people might get a D to present, but people who are ready to get a 15%, we are not allowing you to present for good reason. You're not ready. We've seen people literally fall apart in front of face-to-face. There's no need for that. So people who are ready to get 20% and lower don't need to present for good reasons. Mr. White, would you agree with me?
Certainly. Certainly, Miss Lynn.
You soon tell me whether you agree? You mean you think that you actually would approve of people who are going to get a 20% or less to present?
No, man. No. All right.
That's what I'm asking, you know. Not
Right.
of your group to know. I'm asking you if you approve that we should let anybody whose presentation is likely to get less than
You know
30% to
you know my
present.
take on that. You know my
What
take
is
on
your
that
take?
already. You know
What's
it
your
already
take?
because we have spoken off here. Right?
Okay,
And the
all right.
once the supervisor does not recommend the person going forward, then they shouldn't.
Right. So guys, these are the dates. So the goal right now in order to prepare you, the reason why we're having this meeting is several reasons. I have realized based on email, I've been reading them, that people confuse about the ethics. That's why we had this meeting. And I was trying to ask the people that have found in any interaction, what was the best date for this meeting? And I wanted to have it last week, and I heard too much people were trying to give in projects. So that's why we went with this week. Because people say some people will be able to squeeze in the time between the exams and assignments. So here's the thing, next month when everything finished for the, as you know, the end of this semester is April 30th, 2021. In May, that's sometime in May, there may be a summer semester. So in May, we're going to have these optional workshops for students to prepare you for major project Viva and the final thing. So you're going to all welcome to attend. But right now, the goal is everybody who plan to pass major project in the July 6th Viva needs to get their ethics thing in and approved, because I'm ready to even manage to see how you're going to do a project and get it passed. Very, very tight. So you need to do that in April, the latest. That the reason why I said is February is because this was, some people said, why do I put this? Because this was a reasonable date for this to be done without turning insane. So when people are trying to do this in April, you're trying to give yourself under way too much pressure. So I know, we know there have been some communication delays, and if all of you want to make appeals for things to change, we can all talk about that come very soon. But in the meantime, everybody without exception need to give in their ethics. And if you're still having problems, email Skit Capstone if you're having problems. You hear me? So you can even copy me on the email. But don't expect me, remember, I'm not in charge of the ethics committee. So I'm not the first line of defense. I have the second line. And Mr. White will be the third line because he's a program director. As in, I'm responsible for major project, but this is ethics. So hopefully you all get this. So the last thing I wanted to show you was this Google Classroom thing, since it seems as if, let's see if I can find it, because most people seem to have missed that there's a Google Classroom. So let me see if I can find it back. Mr. White, while I'm finding that back, and let me stop share. You can go ahead and give your little speech, please. Please and thanks.
Thank you, Ms. Muir. Right, while Ms. Muir is coming back, I just want to encourage all the persons who are currently doing major projects. I'm reaching out to the scores of students who are on YouTube and also on Zoom. We have just over 100 persons, but I believe in all we should be having 150 persons. So part of the challenge is, you see, the persons who don't come to the meetings, they are the ones now who scurry and hurry and bustle at the end to say, oh, but we didn't know of that. I believe.
Oh, it's more than that. It's 175.
175 now. Wow. Okay.
No, I think
right.
can't remember. I think it's close in numbers. So sorry, CRM and this class is almost the same amount of numbers.
Okay.
So both of them have over 170.
All right, and we have just over 100 persons here. It's not 110 yet. Between both YouTube, those who are watching live on YouTube, and those who are in the Zoom chat. I want to commend Ms. Muir, right, for the active stance she has taken and for outlining the dates. I mean, it's a first in a long while I've seen this much time and leeway given to students and the many workshops she has been hosting. And I want to encourage students to take the opportunity. A number of persons literally have major projects as the last module, right, they have to do before they graduate. And some persons are up for honors, some persons are up for first class and other honors. And if you put in the work, it will pay off, believe me. Right? So I want to encourage you, you have the time, there's no excuse, because she has put the final Viva outside of the exam period. Normally, there's this rush immediately, usually a week after exam, but now you have so much time, right? But don't sit on that, because as you quint, right, time can fly off. So I'm going to encourage you to meet with your supervisors. I mean, in the intelligence system lab, we literally meet every week from 4 o'clock. Sometimes it's for 2 hours, sometimes it's 4 hours, right? I'm not saying everybody can do that, right? But you should be having regular meetings with your supervisors and your team. Insist. Tell Miss Noor from early, right? You heard those who were here at the earlier, you heard persons talking about one team member disappear or another person join another group. Look, it's your project, and it's your grade. So if from early you see the signs that a group member is not carrying the weight, right? Don't be afraid to write Miss Muir, because later on, right, it's going to reflect. All right, so sort out those issues. And I'm looking for some real awesome major projects this year, right? Right. So that is it from me. I will have the opportunity to talk to you again. I'm also supervising or co-supervising a number of groups, and I continue to support Miss Muir and all the other efforts to, have these workshops and the ethics and so on. Really, really proud of all of you. I've seen a number of the presentations. In the last Mini Viva, I was hopping between rooms, so I got a chance to see some of the awesome work that you're doing. And if you really put in the work, you can bring it home. You can get an A. All right, so that's it. Guys, thank you very much. And please feel free to reach out to Ms. Muir and your supervisors. Ms. Muir put the link for the Google Classroom she put it in the chat. I think she's still coming back on. All right, and okay. All right, I answered the questions that were posed on the YouTube live feed. Oh, I realize a number of lecturers.
Oh, I was
joined
talking
well.
and nobody's hearing me.
All right. Okay.
Oh, sorry.
Right,
I was
Ms.
talking. Let me go again. I was talking and I realized you didn't hear me. So let me start. I said, thanks, Mr. White. I just wanted to say that the projects have really been good. So not all, So the faculty administrator came in and watched a couple of them. She saw them in person and said, oh, but these are so interesting and so relevant to the real world. So as I was saying, guys, the better projects, the people will really be impressed with them if you do them well. Secondly, what is a Google Classroom for? For some reason, we had a communication problem. So going forward, I haven't even shared the updates because only 18 people have joined it. It is for me to share with everybody the dates and updates, as well as in order to make sure that the supervisors know what your projects are about, is for you to upload your slideshow and your chapter 1 to 5, because you're required to do 2 things: email the supervisor and upload it there. Now there's at least one panelist who doesn't want to use the Google Classroom, but most panelists will do so. So you can't say you don't know the email of all your panelists. If it's right there in the classroom, people can, the panelists can see it. So it's supposed to be a central hub for everybody. Because I'm not taking on that thing called WhatsApp, because that would mean that unless you give me a phone, or one of you want to donate me a phone, so far nobody now donate me a phone. I'm not making my phone call available to all of you to call me morning, noon, and night. I have something like 4 emails. 4 emails, that's enough emails for me. So I have an email just for major projects, kitcapstone@gmail. So if you're hearing me, I see somebody already sent me an email about meetings. Generally speaking, the times Suzanne Muir, am available for meetings for the rest of the summer is, generally speaking, Wednesdays and Fridays, and sometimes on Mondays. Wednesdays will be in the afternoons, perhaps from about, it will vary each time, but usually from 5 to 7. It might be some variations hereof. And also I will join at every time Mr. White's Intelligent Systems Lab, and you can certainly join us there. And maybe I might have a half an hour before or after that, maybe, and perhaps on Mondays. I'm not meeting with people more than 3 times a week. And my approach is just like Mr. White, it's going to be with groups. So people are going to be meeting in groups collectively. So this Wednesday was just 1 group. The week before that, it was 3 groups. So I'm just going to use the same link every single week. And so everybody can come to that as far as I'm concerned. But everybody I'm supervising will get the first priority. And people I'm co-supervising the second priority. And people who asked me from months ago, they get the 3rd priority, because some people have been asking me for months now. And the people who just come, they get the 4th priority. No disrespect. That's how I see it. I've already committed to people I'm supervising as my primary supervisor. I am committed to them. The co-supervisor, second commitment. The people that have been asking me for months and months on and off, I've already kind of been helping them. So we have a relationship already. But if I have the time, I'll be willing to help anybody, but I only have so much time and no more. Come have whole heap of paper to mark. Any burning question from anybody? By the way, guys, we're going to having real workshops to help you all get major project done well. So in May, we're going to have projects, as in major project workshops for you to operationalize how to get this done well. We want everybody to do it as well as you can. Is there anybody has any suggestion? And my idea right now is that those workshops will basically be an hour or an hour and a half. The person who is talking, could you kindly put it on mute? With the child. Megan, you have a child in the background. Any preference or comment about anything I've said? In fact, show of hands, is there anybody who wants the workshops in May? The people who are on Zoom? So wait, nobody don't need any workshop?
What do you mean, Prof? I just raised my hand.
No, the hands are going up. The hands are
the hands are going up? Oh yes,
yes.
12, okay, yes, 12 people are raising hands. So I just want to make sure that some people want it. 13, okay, so I have some people. Anybody from YouTube have a comment or a question?
All right, so on YouTube, they were asking for the Google Classroom link. I just posted it as well.
Okay, great, thank you. Anything else, guys? So you'll see that I don't have much on the Google Classroom because almost nobody had joined. So I kind of decided until our next meeting, there was not much point. So I will update some more information on the classroom, and I'm going to put on there the dates for the next meetings. So my plan is to have an early meeting in May. Is there any preference? Anybody want to say out loud right now when you'd prefer to have a workshop? Or are you too tired right now to think about that?
As early as possible.
As early as possible. We can work with that. All right, guys. Well, that's it. I hope you do as well as you will with your rest of your exams and assignments. Happy April.
Yes, miss. Thank you very much.
Take care
Thank
now.
you.
Thank you, miss.
All right. Thank you all for coming. And Miss Muir, they're saying thanks on YouTube as well.
I mean, Professor Moore.
Yeah, go ahead, Kadim. Is it Kadim or Miles? The question? Go ahead, Kadim.
Accident.
Miles? Okay. All right, everyone. Thanks for coming, and thanks to Miss Muir for putting together this workshop.
Wait, sir, can I ask you a question?
Yes, go ahead.
Could you remind me when is the final presentation? Is it still in July?
July 6th.
Wow.
July 6th.
And it will be online, right, sir?
Yes.
All right, good.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much, Mr.
All right, thank you two for coming, and thanks to Miss Muir and Miss Plummer, and thanks to the lecturers who came, and thanks to the students who asked the questions. All right, enjoy the rest of your day, everybody. Bye-bye.
Pleasure.
So you will be seeing an email from me as soon as possible.
Okay.